So today we're going to talk about order of operations. So in your table of contents in your math notebook, you can write order of operations, and this is objective 50A1. Okay, you can write the date, order of operations, 50A1. When I think about this title, order of operations, okay, operations, I'm thinking, when I think of which operation to use, I think add, subtract, multiply, divide. Okay, those are my different types of operations in math. Just like a doctor does an operation to solve things, when we do math, we're using one of these tools to solve something, okay? So you have this little box here. It kind of looks like a hopscotch modified type board. This box is going to help us to figure out what order to solve the different operations in, okay? What order to solve the different operations in. So the first letter that we're going to put up here is the letter P, okay? We're going to put the letter P up there, and that P stands for parentheses. Okay. And parentheses can include this sign, it can include this sign, or it could include this sign. Kind of look like a butterfly without a middle, okay? These are called actual parentheses. These are a type of parentheses, okay? These right here are a type of parentheses, and these two things have different names, okay? Those two pieces have different names that we will actually do a lesson on tomorrow as well. But all of those symbols basically fall in the same category as parentheses. We will these are called braces, and these are called brackets. Okay, so when I'm solving an equation and I'm using these different operations, the first part that I want to solve is anything that's inside of these right here. If it's inside a type of parenthesis, that's the first thing I want to solve. Okay, my second letter is E. Okay, and this stands for exponents. So if you remember when we did powers of 10, we had the number 10, and then we had a little number up here in the corner, and we'll just call that number X for right now. The little number up in the corner is called an exponent. You don't just have to have a 10 to a certain power. You could have any number to a certain power. You could have the number 3 to what we call the second power. That's how we term exponents. So this little 2 right here up in the corner is meaning an exponent. Okay? So when we're solving a problem, if we see parentheses, we solve that first. Then if we see exponents, or a number with a little number in the corner, we solve that second. Okay, so we've got a P and we've got an E. All right? Now these two boxes are different because they're two boxes side by side. The next two boxes are going to be M and D. And in the middle, I want you to write the word OR. Okay? So for the next step, this M stands for multiply, and the D stands for divide. Now, after I've solved my parentheses, after I've solved my exponents, then I'm going to either multiply or divide. Okay? Now, how do I know which one to do? It's whichever comes first when solving from left to right. So when I'm solving the problem from here to here, it's whichever comes first. If multiplying comes first from left to right, then I solve that first. If division comes first from left to right, then I solve that first, after I do the parentheses and exponents. All right? our last two letters are A, S. And you're going to put an OR right here. So after I've solved my parentheses, my exponents, my multiplying or dividing, I get to A or S. These two stand for add or subtract. Again, this is whichever comes first when solving from left to right. So when I solve my problem from here to here, whichever comes first, addition or subtraction, that's the one I solve first. Okay? Now all these letters together create the acronym PEMDAS, or what we call PEMDAS. And there are some little silly things to help you remember PEMDAS, such as please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay? The P, the E, the D, the A, the S. There's also penguins eat many donuts. Whoops. I totally misspelled that word, I'm sorry. Donuts after school. All right? There's other probably silly sayings out there, but those are two that I know of that help us remember PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Penguins eat many donuts after school. Okay, to help us remember the P, the E, the M or D, A or S. All right, with that in mind, we're going to look at trying to solve a few problems together using that process, and I'll show you what it actually looks like, because you're probably like, okay, this is a lot of words and a lot of steps, and I need to see it in action. Okay, so I want you to refer back to this sheet when you're going to be looking at this sheet that we just filled out as we're solving the problems together. I'm going to have my sheet on the side. All right, so the homework page from day 78, I'm going to take a look at that, and we're going to look at number 1. We have the problem 3 times, then we have parentheses, 16 divided by 4 minus 7. If we look at that carefully, and I'm looking at my sheet, my PEMDAS sheet, the first letter in my box is a P. That means I solve whatever's in parentheses first. So what I like to do when I'm solving these problems, and you need to make a habit out of doing this, I need to put an arrow down first to the first part I'm going to solve, which is in parentheses. So I'm going to solve the equation 16 divided by 4. And the rest of it, I'm going to just pretend like it's not there for right now. Okay? 16 divided by 4, I know is 4. Okay? Because 4 times 4 equals 16. Now, what I do with these extra pieces, I circle the extra pieces, including the symbol. And I put it down right here with that 4. So there's a 3 and a multiplication symbol. And on the other side of the 4, because I answered that part, there's a minus 7. Okay? Now, the next thing I have is exponents. After the P comes the E for exponents. Well, I don't have any exponents in my problem. So that means I'm going to move on to the next thing that I have on my list, which is M or D, which is multiply or divide. When I move from my problem from left to right, I see there's multiplication here. So I'm going to solve that equation next. 3 times 4 is 12. I'm going to circle what's left. There's a minus 7 left, so I'm going to put that down here. Now I know A or S is next. Well, this must be an S because it's subtracting. 12 minus 7, if I have 12 and I take 7 away, that means it leaves me with, let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It leaves me with 5. So my answer to this equation is 5. There's my answer. Another thing you can do, let's look at number 2 together. If I write PEMDAS down the side, I can check it off as I go. Okay? So I don't have any parentheses. None in this problem right here. I don't have exponents. I don't have multiplication or division. When I look at addition or subtraction, I don't have to do addition first. It's whichever comes first. And when I look from left to right, subtraction comes first. So I'm going to take 12 minus 8, because this is the first part that I have to deal with here. 12 minus 8 is 4. Circle what's left and bring that down. So I'm going to add a plus 7. I've solved, I solved my subtraction. I can check that off. Now I have addition left. 4 plus 7 is 11. So there's my answer. My answer to this problem is 11. And I solved my addition step. Okay. We're going to look at number 3. 5 plus 5 times 9. If I do PEMDAS down the side, I don't have parentheses. I don't have exponents. Multiply or divide. When I look, although addition comes first, my next step says to multiply or divide, so I have to do that before I even do the addition. 5 times 9 is 45. Bring down what's left, 5 plus. So I've multiplied there, and there's no division. Next is addition or subtraction. Well, there's no subtraction, but there is addition. So when I add those two together, I get 50 as my answer. I want you to try numbers 4, 5, or 6 using your PEMDAS steps and show it to me tomorrow. If you can show me one of those problems you tried, and if you can come up with another silly saying for PEMDAS, you can earn 10 tickets tomorrow.